hearing that you're saying. My question to you is, in terms of your logic and what you're using, is this a passion of yours of the preservation of the buildings and historic concept or of our town, or is it the questioning of like priority and how we spend our money? I'm just trying to find out where
would you like me to answer?
I want to be clear. I want you to be clear what I'm asking.
I think I'm very clear.
Okay.
I respect the historical value of this town. One of the reasons I moved into this town is I have a high regard for the architecture of this town. I'm very sensitive to it. I see a lot of it being ignored in what's going on with the downtown development, much as Ms. Kent spoke about seeing four-story apartment buildings pop up all over the place. I'm concerned about that too. It's taking away a lot of our architectural integrity. Specifically with respect to the old stone house, in my opinion, and it is not an opinion based on a great deal of knowledge, but simply observation, as I looked at the structure, and I did take another look at it, it impressed me that we'd be throwing money away, in all honesty. That the old stone house has reached the point when people talk about restoration of the old stone house, frankly, I don't know what's left to restore. It seems to me that it would best be replication. And if I had to pick and choose between priorities in this town, I think at this point, it's water under the bridge. I don't see it. If you could get a private institution or a private foundation who's willing to take that on, more power to it. I do not see this town having represented very good stewardship of historical property.
And that was my concern of the question and the logic, because I know you come up here from time to time and you're questioning us on the building and the maintenance of the building, yet I couldn't understand there's no care or passion for the old stone house. That's gone done. We don't need to worry about that. But I'm for the favor of preserving the history of this town, but only of these buildings here, not anything that we could fix.
I don't think it's fixable. Okay. You tell me in great detail what it's going to take to restore the old stone house, whatever restoration means. Not replication, restoration. I want to know, as a taxpayer, what it will cost in total, what the plans of the village would be for it. What is it going to be? Is it going to be a museum? Is it going to be a police station? Is it going to be an archive for the library? Somebody tell me, outline in great detail what that's going to do, how much it's going to cost, and then I, as a taxpayer, will be only too glad to let you know if I vote yay or nay. I have never seen anything like that. From where I stand right now, I hear money being tossed about, we're going to allocate $1 million in the budget next year for the old stone house or whatever. To do what? To what end?
So your passion is really about the funding and where we're spending it, but really not about the preservation of the...
No, you're twisting my words. Okay. I am concerned about preservation. I'm concerned about preservation of the building we are standing in right now, which will turn into an old stone house in short order.
As part of it, first of all, I think you just said something which makes me concerned. I don't think we've ever agreed to spend $1 million on the old stone house. We get a report. I don't think in the 8 years I've done the board, we've never gotten a report one way or the other that's been clear and concise on the old stone house from any group that's told us what we could do with it, how much it would cost.
I agree, Mark. We have not seen anything.
But regarding this building, because it keeps coming up that we insisted on getting a report for this building and the library building to make sure that we went and took those steps to make sure it was done, because we were nickel and diming the building, $25,000, $50,000, and a couple of times we actually spent more than that. So we felt that we needed a comprehensive plan to go forward with it, and that we had to come up with the money somehow. When we refer to increased bonding, we also have bonds that come up every year. So the bonds, if we add $2 million to the bond, it doesn't mean that our bonding goes up by $2 million, because there's bonds that come up, and I don't know how much comes up in 2007 or 2006. So the number doesn't go up by $2 million, it might go up by $1 million.
I understand what you're saying.
Obviously, we were all concerned about this building and the library being the next two buildings that have to be taken care of. But you have to remember that a lot of this neglect took place in the 70s, 80s, and other times, and we're in a catch-up mode, like we were with the firehouse, which was the first one that had to be done, which was a $2 million project, which is going to cost $3 or $4 million based on overruns. But you couldn't do every single one of these things in one shot.
Mark, I think that's an important point.
Well, I think that,
and then just for a second, if you can. I mean, there's been a lot of projects, and this village has been in an intensive capital program it be the downtown, whether it be the firehouse, whether it be a number of other projects within the downtown, which all have been prioritized in the Board of Trustees based on the order of things to take care of. And we did studies on this building soon after I came here in '99. Now, the fact is, our financial condition at that point in time was not what it is today. Our financial position now is incredibly stronger, and we're in a position to do more things now than we were at that time. Trustee Rogers spoke of before, back when we were looking at whether we were going to do a condemnation of the Biker site and the old ShopRite site, and the question came up, from a bonding capacity position, we could do one or the other. We weren't in a position to do both because we did not have the financial strength to do it. And since then, we have improved, and that's one thing that I can say amongst, I believe, many others, that has occurred over the last 8 years, is our financial condition has steadily improved. And we are now in a position where a lot of the other capital commitments and projects that we're committed to, whether it be South Orange Avenue, the Irvington Avenue, SOPAC, have all come. And now we're looking at the next phase. We started that last year, the year before that, starting doing the new assessments. So we have been good stewards. It's just, we just like everybody else out there, each and every one have to make priorities as to what we're going to do on our houses and our properties every year based on where they are at that point in time. And that's what the building does.
This board set priorities, and those priorities were things like SOPAC with a $4 or $5 million overrun. Okay? Those were priorities that this village spent. And it spent those monies knowing that buildings like this were falling down. So this board has set priorities, like it or not. Thank you.
Mr. Purkert, I have a question for you. Mr. Purkert, I have a question for you. When I read the WASH report, I went to an energy meeting, I think last spring or late last spring, and I requested not only the bids at the time on the old stone house, but the WASH report and whatever else there was. I spoke to the consultants who did that and so on and so forth. And that was one of the reasons I came before this board and asked, I believe it was in late June, to ask the voters if they would consider adding 1 cent per $100 of assessed value to the open space fee, specifically for the buildings that are eligible for the Historic Preservation Fund, this one being one of them, Old Stone House and the library. I mean, certainly the triumvirate. And you were one of the persons who crossed my path many times in the public plazas of this village campaigning against it. Now, that's your prerogative, but when you stand there and you say, the building is falling down, with which I couldn't agree more, and I'm concerned about bonding. That's one of the reasons why I believe in a pay-as-you-go system. What's your solution? I mean, it's one thing to criticize, but what's your solution? You're against increasing the open space tax. You're against more bonding, and you complain that the building is falling down. You can't have a free lunch.
Are you ready to hear my answer?
I would love to.
It sounds like a political speech to me, but okay.
Well,
as long as we're doing a political stomp, let's politically stomp. Yes, I was against the so-called open space tax, which was promoted to the village as a 1 cent increase. You know, Ms. Bauer, very well it was not a 1 cent increase.
1 cent per $100 of assessed value.
Yes, which was going to go up because all of our assessments are going to go up, and it would at least have gone up 3, possibly 4 times that. We already pay an open space tax for which not 1 single cent has ever gone for open space. So people were under the impression it was going for open space when in fact it was never used for open space. We also pay an open space tax at the county level. We are getting taxed to death. Now, in terms of...
You didn't answer the question.
I'm getting to it. Are you going to let me answer the question? I am well aware of the fact that priorities have to be set. That is the function of a governing board. It does not mean increasing taxes over and over and over again. It means making choices.